And again, you can share this with other people in your school if they're interested, or if you miss any of this, and we'll send out the link post this hour's webinar. So to me, I always think it's really important. Why has Active Cornwall invited you to spend an hour of your time talking about your school facilities? Well, in a nutshell, really, this is part of our response, and not just ours, the government's response to the pandemic, and really the health and well-being of the younger generation that we've got in Cornwall. It is a priority within the School Sport and Activity Action Plan, one of very few action plans that's across government departments. So government working together to prioritise moving forward. And even though that was written pre-pandemic, it has come out as a priority, and now as we move into that recovery phase. We also know on the right there that we were trying to get children to achieve 60 minutes of activity per day. And that's a struggle. We've currently got 25% of children in Cornwall that are doing less than 30 minutes, so counted as inactive. And we also know, because of the pandemic, that there's 36% of children are doing less activity, which is going to have huge knock-ons to huge emotional and physical challenges that children are going to have moving forward. We also know that 4% of children's activity pre-pandemic took place on your school sites outside of the school day, which really shows to us that the school facilities are really, really important to that health and well-being of our generation. And you will know all the other benefits to your school, and we know that we want to really make that school central to your local community and the benefits that can bring for you as a school as we move forward. With all that in mind, we've been doing a fair bit of work at Active Cornwall about working with individual schools, and are still keen to work with individual schools to open up your facility, and not just after school, but weekends and school holidays as well, and work with local providers to make sure that they deliver in a COVID safe environment on your school sites. With that in mind, we've been working with a company called Vivify, initial stages of what sounds like a really exciting partnership. And we see that that's a potential solution to help you and really to help you get your schools open and maximise that time. I'm going to pass you straight over to the guys from Vivify, which are on the call, and they're going to share their screen. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then they can talk through to you, and then we can follow up with the Q&A, as I said at the end. So please enjoy the next 55 minutes. Cheers.
Okay, so hi guys, my name's Elaine Swiss. I'm the marketing director at Vivify, and we've also got Russell Teal and Andy Meller on the call, who are our MD and FD, who will be available for questions as well in a minute. I'm sure they'll pop up and through the presentation as and when required. So with no further ado, I'm going to get straight into what we do and what we're all about. And like I said before, any questions at the end, if you just jot them in the chat, or we'll go to those at the end. So let me share my screen. Okay, so can everybody see that now?
Yep, we can see that, Elaine.
Yep, perfect. That's great. Always forget that everyone's on mute. So we've been speaking with the team Active Cornwall for just over a month now, I think, in terms of this project and how we can assist in getting more facilities across Cornwall open. Vivify has been trading only a couple of months now. We set up the company around a year ago. We started to look at the industry, where all three founders are from a health and fitness background in kind of national health chains. We looked at this industry and what was available to enable exercise. We're really, really passionate about getting more people active, and social activities as well. I think COVID and lockdown has showed more than ever that people really need the social interaction and activities to look forward to. So predominantly, we are a tech company. We've focused on building a best-in-class platform. We built that because there is nothing else in this industry which can deliver all of the requirements that is needed. But we have a huge people focus. So we have a team from a wide range of backgrounds, very customer service focused. In this day and age, tech isn't enough. You do need that customer service people focus. And at the end of the day, we're dealing with communities. So I'm going to go straight into what we do. I think there was a bit of information that was sent pre this webinar, but there's a couple of options which we have at the moment. So we offer a booking engine solution to facilitate community lettings. We also have what we call fully managed solution, where our team will drive bookings and liaise with your customers every step of the way. So with the booking only platform, you'll get everything that I'll go on to speak about in a moment. And you get access to our tech team 24/7 for any issues. But with the fully managed version, we have a 24-hour customer contact center through live chat, email, phone. We liaise with the customers every step of the way, from initial inquiry through to complaints, through to any problems they have on site, any problems your team might have on site. You know, if there's two people, one's running late and one's turned up early, and they need a bit of help sorting that out. We have a proactive sales team, and which I'll go on to explain a little bit later as well, in terms of what we do for our marketing strategy. And we create lots of bespoke reports. Our system generates lots of automated ones, and our customer service team will send each school a quarterly report. And we work with a world-class kind of GDPR compliance CRM system. So a couple of things that, when we set out to create Vivify, we really wanted to understand what schools' main concerns or problems were. And a big one is obviously that community lettings are not your primary focus. We absolutely understand that. And that's why we do put your requirements first. So we have it all the time that a school will say, oh, crikey, I'm really sorry, but I need the theatre back for a production on Thursday night, and I know there's a drama group in there. And that's fine. It's in our terms and conditions. Our hirers completely understand that the school's primary focus is there for the pupils, and anything else is secondary. We deal with last minute changes on a daily basis. Also with some schools, a lot of the feedback that we had was that being available for hirers 24/7 is kind of unrealistic, in the sense that hirers were really struggling to get through to the correct person to inquire about bookings or to change bookings. Whereas, like I said, our team's there all day, every day on live chat, email and phone. I'll talk about our reporting suite, but we understand reporting is challenging. You know, a lot of schools that we work with need to report figures to the Football Foundation, for example, how many participants they have each week. And, some say there's just no way of knowing, whereas our system will tell you at a click of the button, because everybody enters how many people are attending each week. And it's a simple report we can run. Salespeople, hiring salespeople isn't possible. Finding budget and expertise to do marketing isn't feasible. Again, comes back to, it's not your school's primary function. So to have hours each day dedicated to these things is not realistic. Raising invoices, chasing payments. We've had feedback from finance teams that it's frustrating. Managing booking information on a spreadsheet is laborious and not GDPR compliance. It's been a concern. There's a bit of a risk. And simply might not have the resource to make community lettings possible. So we've created a product along with our team to kind of counteract all of these things. So I'll go on to talk about our platform now and exactly why we created it from scratch, rather than using anything else across not only the lettings industry but the events industry. So some of the things from the hirer's point of view, benefits for the hirers. So in today's world, people are used to booking in a couple of clicks, under a minute and a half. They want it to look really modern, user-friendly. Think Airbnb, think some of the flights. You can book a flight in under a minute now, spend thousands of pounds on a flight to the other side of the world, and it's really easy to do so. We struggled to find anything that was modern, user-friendly, that had live availability and instant booking. There was a lot of products out there that were inquiry forms, which is fine, and that is something we are looking to do for a couple of schools that have mentioned it to us, that don't particularly want live availability. But we find that the live availability and instant booking just take a lot of that toing and froing back from the customers, especially because you can create cut-off points. If you don't want people to book more than 3 days in advance, for example, that's absolutely possible. So block bookings and basket functionality, over over 50% of our customers will book more than one session a week, and I think 90% of our customers at the moment are block bookings, but most of them have a Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday night. So if they were to do that for 50 weeks of the year, that's a lot of bookings. So it's very simple. They select how many weeks they want on our platform, they add it to the basket, and then they go back and select the Tuesday night. And if they wanted, they could also select another school in the local area if they were doing, a huge event that required quite a few different schools. So they just keep adding to their basket, and then they can check out. Super intuitive login area. They can do all kinds of things in the login area, which I'll show you in a second. The ability to pay weekly, monthly, and offline sounds really, really simple, but unfortunately not available many places. So a lot of our customers they can't pay monthly, they want to pay weekly. And similarly, a lot don't have a card, so they need to pay offline. So our system just allows a lot of flexibility, so there's less barriers to the customer. Things like document upload, you might want a copy of their PLI or their COVID risk assessment or DBS checks, or there's lots of different things that our schools need. And the hirers can load these up at a simple click of a button. And the main time-saving efficiency that we've created is actually automated annual renewal process. So for some people that have a trust of schools, for example, they've got hundreds of customers, which they all have to contact over the summer period, ready to book them in again for September. At that time, we send all the customers an automated email. Would you like to renew your slots? They select their slots, and it's really simple. Click of the button for them to renew for the following year. There's various stages of that if you wanted price increases or they wanted to amend, but it is really, really simple at the click of a button. And then moving on to efficiencies for schools then. So likewise, the hirers have an admin area, a login area, and so do you. And I'll show you that in a second. Automated complex VAT calculations and invoicing. So, in this industry, there are various VAT rules for various facilities, and depending on how many times, how often. So, there was another provider recently that went into administration with a £5 million VAT liability. So we certainly wanted to ensure that our platform got this absolutely correct. So it's actually a couple of months in the build just to create all the VAT rules, the algorithms for that. So I've spoken about reporting. I'll run through some of those in a minute. So something else, you can create a manual booking process in less than a minute. So if your team were on the phone to a hirer and they said, look, I'm out and about at the moment, or really don't want to put the booking on myself, can you do it for me? It's really, really simple, less than a minute. You click a few buttons and then the hirer will get an email with a link. They'll follow that link. They'll be prompted to log into their account. They'll accept the T's and C's, and they'll enter their payment and agree to any COVID policies or anything that you want them to. And it's really, really simple for them. Sounds really, really, sounds kind of a given, but we've used some of the systems and demoed some of the systems that make it a bit tricky. I mentioned you can specify cutoff times. You can override prices for hirers. So you might have Bob, who's run a football club on one of your pitches for 5 years, and he pays £20 an hour, and you suddenly don't want him to pay £50 an hour that new customers would. Well, that's absolutely fine, because we can load his booking up, or you can load his booking up and override his price really easily. You could also cancel and refund a booking in 2 clicks. A credit note is automatically raised for auditing purposes. Really, really simple. And we also offer a facility percentage feature, which just means that for, say, a football pitch that could be sliced up many different ways, you wouldn't want to list it on a platform 7 times in various formats. Just list it once, and then the customer can select whether they wanted 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 11-a-side. They want 2 5-a-sides next to each other, whatever the capabilities are. So a quick screenshot of the first part of our booking process. So you can see, very simple, start date, times, the space required. They can choose a number of weeks or end date. And then the affiliated club or organisation question is there for VAT purposes. They then click to search. All of the availability comes up. If it was a 11-week booking, as it is here, it might come up that 2 weeks are unavailable. So it'll highlight those and it'll see if you want to edit it or what, if you want to remove it, what you want to do there. It might just be that somebody's got a one-off booking or the school has a function that day. And then you add to your basket, you fill out a few questions about the booking and yourself, and that's literally done. You'll then get a confirmation email, which will prompt you, if you haven't already, to create an account and enter a password. If you already have an account, your booking will just miraculously appear there. So moving on to the school admin area. So once you log in, you'll see a dashboard similar to this. Various reports, so they're different for each school depending on what's important to you. But, you know, revenue, year-to-date bookings, slot utilization. Well, like I said, because it's our system, we've got our own in-house tech team, we can develop that however you need it. There's also a calendar view or a table view of all your bookings. You can then click through each booking. You can see the hirer information, including their PLI. You could download the VAT information. You can see their contact information. You might need to phone them for a reason. And I think at this point, Megan had said that I don't know if there's a Rob Francis on the phone from Budehaven. She had mentioned that you were very interested in the school admin area and the kind of efficiencies. Does this answer your questions at this point? Not sure if he's made the call. Maybe not made the call at this point. Okay, no worries, I'll move on.
I think he's Hello, Rob, can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, hi guys. Yeah, so thanks, Lane. I've been at Budehaven for 8 or 9 years now, and we opened up our facilities here to the general public. In that period of time, we have tried 3 or 4 different sort of online booking systems, which range from being very, very detailed, which actually weren't efficient and took up too much time, to the other end of the spectrum and not really being what we were kind of looking for, where this looks absolutely fantastic. I was just watching the slide that you mentioned earlier, that we understand, and thinking that's an issue for us, that's an issue for us, that's an issue for us. And those of you that have been to Budehaven know it's a very vast site. When I was appointed here, we took over the running of the leisure facilities from Cornwall County Council, and whilst we wanted to make it a hub for the area, and we wanted a personal touch, that kind of created problems within itself. We have over 200 people that come and book not only our sports and leisure facilities, but we open the school up so adult education come and use our cooking rooms, our computer suites, the local orchestra come and use our music suite. We're very lucky here. We have a great team, a site manager that we all work very closely with. But at the moment, and the only thing we've kind of found that fits our need is, which we've used so far, is our Microsoft Outlook calendar, where we've created different bits for each section, but it's very antiquated now. And something like this is going to be fabulous for what we need. Employ 1 member of staff each evening from 4:30 through till 10 p.m. and obviously weekends as well. But that again creates its own problems. We don't have somebody here to man the phone during the day. So something like this is exactly what we're going to be looking for. And the experience we've kind of had over the last 8 years, this looks absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Rob. That's great to hear. We're on the right track. I'll move on and show you the hirer area next, because it's really important for you to know that your hirers find it all really simple and easy to use. Especially, we really appreciate that some of you have opened your school up for many, many years now. So, you know, changing behaviour, you know, can be challenging. However, you know, the feedback we've had from all of our hirers, all of our schools so far, is that, you know, it's a delight in the sense that everything's there, a click of a button, they log in, they can find everything really, really easy. So let me show you here. So yeah, they can see all the different documents they've uploaded. They can also see your documents, so any risk assessments, any, you know, arrival procedures they might need to sign in. You know, we can build whatever you need in there in terms of their document uploads. They see their overview and arrival instructions and all of their historic bookings, all of their future bookings. They can see VAT invoices there, and also amend any information. So it's kind of self-service in a way, amending their personal and payment information for their regular weekly or monthly payment schedule. In the future, we are looking at a self amend or self cancel feature, but right now we do like that personal touch with our hirers. We like to understand why they're cancelling or why they're amending and help them as much as possible. We have found that sometimes amending one client means you need to phone another and maybe try and wiggle them round if possible and things. So we didn't want it to be completely self-service, because we did want that personal touch, and we want, you know, certain touch points with our clients. So I've mentioned a few bits on reporting. A few other things that some of our schools like to know is things like failed payments and unpaid upcoming bookings. So our system will automatically retry a payment 3 times. Our team is on the phone chasing and prompting that. But if you were dealing with this in-house, you might want to see a report and, you know, deal with that the way you want, in terms of how many times you chase them, and see which bookings may be at risk if they're in the next couple of days and people haven't paid. So we do booking slot utilization, occupancy rates. So this is a great one that our sales team run on a morning. So if we were working with you and we placed bookings, say 9 a.m. up till midday on a Saturday, but then there was nothing till 4 p.m., that's quite a few hours of your staff sat with no booking. So this type of report will throw up those kind of priority booking slots that we really need to fill to make you know, it as efficient as possible. We also like to know what activities are being carried out. It's really interesting for you, and also a great PR exercise for that. We work with a PR company, and we often go out with good news stories of what each school has enabled the local community to do. And again, in this day and age, never been so more kind of newsworthy in that sense. And there's also things like one-off versus repeat bookers. You can see the retention rate, etc. So I'll move on to some of the marketing initiatives that we do. We use various targeted audience, lookalike audience, various interests that people have clicked when they sign up for their Facebook and Instagram account. And also there are various algorithms out there that if people are liking similar posts or similar facilities in an area, we can target them. We also do a lot of Google PPC advertising, that's pay-per-click. So you can see a screenshot there of one of our venues. We place ads so that if somebody's searching for a particular facility in your area, we can make sure we're first in Google. We also do remarketing ads. So, you know, I don't know if any of you have been Christmas shopping at the moment, but, you know, if you're on John Lewis if you're on John Lewis website looking for that special candle, and then for the next week, wherever you go across the internet, you start seeing John Lewis adverts for that candle you were looking at. That's exactly what these remarketing ads are. They kind of remind people of the page of what they were looking at a particular website. So if somebody was looking at your school page, or even a football pitch page on your page on our site, we'd be able to kind of remind them about that facility and keep showing them ads across the internet. We also do use the Google Display Network, which is more kind of banner ads. Think when you're on BBC News and you see banner ads. We do place ads there as well. And also local marketing initiatives. You might have a school on a main road and say, you know, let's get a banner site up, let's have some signage in the schools. You know, the opportunities are endless. I mentioned our proactive sales team. So they'll either at their desk and they'll research like mad, you know, using all kinds of things, Google, Facebook. They'll look at local hirer groups in your areas, from local Zumba instructors and football teams right through to kind of adult learning classes that will use your classrooms, etc. We also have a huge list of regional and national partners, which have been our team have actually worked at Compare, and they've been working for many years. There is a expanded deck that will be sent to you all post this call, and you can see some of our partners on that in that information pack. We upsell every step of the way. So on average, I think it's about 15% extra sessions we get out of a current hirers when we take a school on. We get them to book extra slots, we get them to extend their slots, and obviously then we work with our partners, new customers, and we make sure, like I said before, that your booking slots are perfectly mapped so that your staff are not sitting around. I've mentioned our customer contact center. So I'll elaborate a little bit on our CRM system. We use a worldwide system called Zendesk. It's one of the top 5 in the world. It automatically logs each contact with hirers. So we can actually track each piece of contact we have, not only with your school, but also the hirers. So we'd actually be able to tell you at the end of the quarter, do you know what, your hirers have phoned us 1,068 times, 50% of that was new inquiry, some was to amend, X, Y, and Z. We can really break that down for you. When somebody phones us, if they're already in our system, which will be one of your customers would be in our system, we can answer the phone saying, "Oh, good morning, Dave. How was your booking last night at X school?" Because we know who it is when they phone, because our phone system is integrated, and it will bring up their history of their previous contact, and also where, which of our schools they're a customer at. So there's, I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, there's a couple of solutions. So all of the stuff I've mentioned just now with sales and marketing, that's kind of our fully managed service. With the booking engine only solution, I did a couple of mock-ups for the team at Active Cornwall, just so they could see what potentially could look like. So on the left, you'll see the Active Cornwall website, where we could either have a widget where people search for a particular facility in a particular town or postcode, and then click search. It could also be implemented on a school website, or we could simply just have a hire button. So I would say the majority of the schools that we work with now, they just have a hire our facilities and a button, and when somebody clicks that button, it automatically goes through to something like this. So this would be all the facilities in the Active Cornwall partnership, and they can scroll down or see the map view. To then look into each facility, the one on the left here with Branwell School, that would be an overview with various features, and then it would list a page for each individual facility, and information such as directions. This page is actually being redesigned at the moment, or it's not going to be grey anymore. There's going to be even more information on there. But you can actually see on the right hand side, if someone was to click the 3G pitch, it would bring up a series of photographs, descriptions, features, prices, dimensions, all of the things that the hirer is likely to want to know, and therefore it will help reduce the amount of phone calls or emails into you saying, is it floodlit? Because A, they'll see the pictures, but B, they'll be able to see the features as well. So we're coming to the end now. Just one final slide for me before we go on to Q&As, which is about the costs. So Active Cornwall have already, we've already spoken to them about investing on your behalf to get everything set up for you in terms of a booking engine only solution. So there's the 2 options that I mentioned. There was the booking engine only, which requires no upfront investment from any school. We just take a commission of 5% of booking fees going forward. Or there's the fully managed solution, which includes the sales, the marketing, all of our contact center, etc. And we don't again charge any upfront fees. It's a 20% fee on any proactive bookings that we get for you. There's also the option which we were talking about, which was if you said, no, do you know what, we really do want to keep it in-house and just have a piece of tech which enables efficiencies and bookings, but you might want a bit of help in sales and marketing. So you might say, do you know what, we're going to go for booking engine only, but we're also happy to list on the Vivify platform. And if you were to get any extra bookings, then we're happy to pay you 20% on that. But for now, we want to manage it in-house. The good thing is you can switch and change in the future. If you tried it yourself and said, right, we really don't have the resource to carry this on in-house, you could upgrade, or similarly, get us to manage on your behalf and then take it in-house at a later date. And finally, just move on to any questions where I'm sure my colleagues Russ and Andy will be joining in as well. But like I said, there's an information pack that will be sent through. It has about 8 more slides in it with more detail and more information that you'll be able to send around your colleagues or digest in your own time. So I'll hand over for any questions.
Thanks, Elaine. There isn't anything in the chat right now. Oh, Richard's got his hand up, so if you'd like to go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, hi, thanks very much. Is it possible, when you said about rebooking the following year, does it kind of ring fence those slots when somebody has historically had, let's say, a Tuesday slot 6 till 9? Does it ring fence that slot so nobody else can book it until they've been given that opportunity?
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So the whole point of that, the whole point of the process is to give them first refusal on their slot. So it would do that process before live availability was put out to the general public. So
Okay.
say that happened in, let's say, July, or you said, right, 2 weeks in July, we're going to go through this renewal process, and it is automated, but you can obviously prompt as well. Then any booking slots that weren't taken would open up. One thing that we generally recommend is some hirers will want to change. So after all the protected slots have been assigned, you might want to then do a second round with your hirers and then go on general sale, because they might want to switch or see what else is available.
Yeah, sure. Can I ask another question, if that's right? Is there flex in the system that I've got some hirers that I do a fixed price rather than like an hourly, weekly price because they're very historic? Or I'm thinking about our Astro, where we've got a new Astro and we couldn't jump from the sort of what the Football Foundation wanted. So we're doing a 3-year sort of sliding scale upwards, if you like. So for some of those hirers, we've made right, that's your fixed cost. Can the system cope with that if that was the case?
Yeah, completely. It's really easy to override a price on either a booking level or a higher level.
Okay.
So you can just go into their account and completely override it.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Has anyone got any further questions they want to ask Elaine while we've got them on the call here? If it's something that you take back to colleagues and you discuss with colleagues at your school, then by all means you can come to us at Active Cornwall and ask for follow-up questions post this event. As Elaine said, we're going to send out a little pack to everybody that's been on the call here with further information as we move through. I'll just give a pause for a little bit and see if anyone's got any further questions or they've thought of anything else that they would like to ask. No. Okay. I think for our point of view, the question there that Richard asked from Nuki was, it's so that this system can really sort your needs out, the flexibility that sits within it, and it doesn't take away any of that control that you guys will have. They're your facilities, and you will still have that control over your facilities for when you maybe got exams on, or you need to cancel a booking, or you've got different pricing structures for different users. All of that flexibility is still there to enable you to control, and we're not taking that away from you. We totally get that the power of this is sometimes that relationship that you've got with those users, and this system is really just going to add value to that moving forward. And for us, really, we're coming from Active Cornwall. We're coming from the user's point of view. It's got to work for you as a school, number one. But if we can get a number of schools involved in this, we can start to build that Cornwall partnership. The bit that Elaine shared, where they say, I maybe just want a sports hall in Newquay. We've got a number of different people involved in the Newquay area. They can do a search and they can find that facility that suits their needs. So we're just trying to, I think we quoted Airbnb earlier, or Elaine did. I think we're just trying to think of that way and making it a lot easier for people to be able to book facilities across Cornwall moving forward. Elaine, or is Russell, any other comments from you at Vivify before we finish and let people get on?
No, not from me. Thanks, Tim. Again, just to reiterate exactly what you said. We've worked with schools as a company between us all for over 20 years now. So we absolutely appreciate, and as you said at the beginning of the call, Tim, for you to have given up an hour of your time, we massively appreciate that, and that kind of transfers through to our product and our offering. We absolutely understand that you're a school first, so we're here to be flexible and to work to your needs and help where we can. And again, just appreciate your time. Thank you.
I think I'd just like to add as well that we started and we launched our product a couple of months ago, and it's still every day in development based on feedback from schools. So, you know, an example of that would be a school said to us, it would be really useful on the PLI document upload to have an expiry box. So that they didn't have to go in and check the expiry dates all the time, that they could run a report that says what's the expiry dates, and they can go, oh, that one's expiring in a month or so. So that's something that we did. So and we can do it really quickly because we have our, you know, like our own developers that they've built systems for NASA, the MOD, British Airways, Dyson, some massive global companies. And so I don't want to say the options are endless, but really, you know, if there's somebody that can do it, then they can. So it will never stop developing. It's based on higher feedback, school feedback. We'll always keep developing it.
That's great. We've got a couple of Elaine just come into the chat. So I think that's just to pick up what Elaine said. That's the number one thing I think why us at Active Cornwall I really like this, that the way this is developing as a company and how it's moving, that there really is those options there to develop this further. And that's something that we're looking to do with the guys around that widget or that platform that's going to sit on the Active Cornwall website. So we've just got a couple of questions in the box which we can pick up. So just one from Richard Higginson here around, I don't know if you can see that, around that blend between just using the booking and then that full package. So with current users, just at the what will be the 5% charge, and then any new bookings that comes in. Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, so with this, it depends on whether you as a school want to say, unfortunately, we don't have the time for the liaisons with hirers and all the proactive outreach. Can you just take the entire thing off us and liaise with customers on our behalf? That's the 20% model. If you said, you know what, we just want a system in-house to deal with all of that, that's absolutely fine. But if you as an agent want to place extra bookings into us, brilliant, we'll do both. And on the ones that you bring us, we'll pay the 20%. So you'll be listed on our platform, but also you'll have your own in-house solution where hirers contact you direct.
Okay. Thanks. Does that answer, Richard?
Yeah, kind of. I think I'll be keen to have a follow-up. Basically, you know, we've got a really robust system in place, and a lot of our facilities are booked out. But I am acutely aware that we do nothing to market what I call the dead slots. And they've probably been historic dead slots, whether they're in our sports hall, whether they're in a classroom, or whether they're on our Astro. And so I guess what I'm saying is that, you know, to move across and say, right, let's work with you guys, put everything on the system, but the things that we've got traditionally booked in at the 5%, but if you can bring us any new business, then I would understand that would be at the 20% charge. That would be something I'd be quite interested in talking about.
Yeah, that's certainly an option. Definitely.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Shall I just go for the other question from John at Foy River? So can Vivify integrate with other booking platforms? Is there an API for developers?
So we're in the process of building a few APIs at the moment. I'm not sure what system that we can do. Like I said, we've spec'd out a few APIs over the last few months, and that's absolutely no problem. We just need kind of a bit more information and maybe a technical spec from the provider, and then we'd get our tech team to look at how easy it was to integrate. But and anything is possible in terms of APIs to other systems.
Okay, I think just in terms of people's time, if there's no other questions, that we'll just wrap that one up there, if that's okay. Just a huge thank you to you guys from Vivify for joining us today and presenting, and thanks to everyone who's taken the time to join today. Like Tim said earlier, if you've got any other questions, you can email me or Tim or info@activecornwall.org for any more information around opening up school facilities in Vivify. But we'll be in touch with a little bit of a package for you guys after this meeting, and the recording of this will be available to share, so you can pass it to colleagues that you think might want to see it. So just a big thanks again from us, and we hope you found it useful.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I know.